on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Back again on the B Stage 2. You guys have been requesting this bike, so here I am taking it for you. Beautiful C8. It is early. If you guys don't know, I'm not a big fan of riding early. I mean, it's not that early. I'm being a baby. It's like 11 right now. But yeah, just in general, I don't know if this guy's giving me a room or he just doesn't know his lines. Yeah, he definitely... My guy, you stay in the, like, middle. Another C8? Whoa, what's going on? Two back to back? Oh my god, yeah, this guy can't ride for shit. My guy. I don't want to like pass him too aggressively and scare him, you know? Look at him, look at him. He like goes behind the car and then like swerves back in the center. But yeah, as I was saying, you guys have been requesting the H2 on the channel, so here I am giving you the H2 content that you guys want to see. In this video, I'm gonna do a kind of a like comparison between this bike and the V4R. Kind of like just talking about them briefly, you know what I mean? The V4R is not like built or has mods on it like exhaust and all that yet, so I can't like full on do a comparison. That video is probably gonna come on like later on when I'm more used to that bike, finished building it and stuff like that. But this is gonna be like kind of a shorter like first thoughts about like differences between these two bikes. And which bike do I prefer right now? All these colors. This one and the BMW. I kind of like the BMW color. It's like ice blue. Anyways, my first kind of like impression between like the two bikes is that the V4 is a track bike and this bike is a straight line bike. And you might think like, duh, like we already knew that, but no, like the V4R, unlike the R1M, you can tell that bike is a track bike, you know what I mean? Like the R1M is more chill, like, you know, you kind of feel like it's built for whatever, you know, you can go fast on the straight lines, you can take it to the track, you can cruise on it. That V4R is A, very uncomfortable. B, the way that bike handles and leans is just insane. Like I haven't ridden a bike like that. And yes, some people have asking me like about like the difference between the V4S and R. The V4R is like a complete different bike than the V4S. That different engine really gives a complete different feel. Like you guys really like it's hard to explain because of how like different that bike is. You can tell like the minute you start riding it, the first like little turn you take on that bike, that V4R is meant for the track. Now, do you have to ride it only on the track? Obviously not. It's made for the street. It's not like a track only bike. The H2 is literally the exact opposite. As soon as I rode that bike and at the first turn I took, I'm like, yeah, nah, this bike does not like doing this at all. Especially because this bike is lowered, as I've said the last few times. Alright, I'm done. This bike, as I was saying, it feels great in doing what I'm doing right now. It's like so stable, so like, I don't know, cuts through the wind. It's not like bothered by like going fast or like little bumps or stuff like that. Well, besides having like a super sensitive throttle, but that's something that I added onto the bike when I tuned it. I wanted the throttle to be aggressive while you can have it like tuned to be softer. But it's an Ninja H2. You know, I want it to be crazy, I want it to be wild, I want it to be a little scary, you know? Why would I try to tame the beast? It's on full power, baby. So, these are kind of like the initial thoughts about these two bikes. Kind of similar, kind of not circumstances of me getting these bikes. The H2, I got like from out of state. I rode back like about 5-6 hours, something like that. Somewhere around like 300 miles, I believe, on this bike on the way back. And honestly, if it wasn't for like the rain and the really bad weather conditions, I would have enjoyed my ride. It's such a like comfortable bike to cruise on. Like right now, I'm chilling, you know. There's no pressure on my hip, on my back. There's no pressure on my wrist. I'm literally just like cruising and enjoying the ride. It's so comfortable and it's like so nice. When you're going really slow, it's not that nice because the throttle gets choppy, but as I said, that's something that like you can adjust by tuning the bike and adjusting your throttle response. So, you know, it's just like so effortless. You don't have to push the bike too hard to get your power or, you know, to go fast. It's such an effortless like bike that is so fun on freeways, and honestly it's like one of my favorite bikes on the freeways besides traffic and splitting lanes, because when there's like a lot of traffic and you have to split lanes, it is like a wider, bigger bike, as you guys can see, and it's also heavier too. So it's definitely not kind of like the most nimble. As I was saying, it's very like stable in straights, but when you try and do like, you know, little maneuvers and go around cars and stuff like that, it's definitely not the best. Shelby and an R8. What is going on today? Unlike the Ducati, where I rode it, as you guys saw, or if you didn't see, I rode it about what, like 8 to 10 hours back from where I got it from, and that ride was very tough. My hips were hurting, my foot, McLarens, 2 of them. What is going on? We've seen like so many supercars already. Yeah, like everything about that bike is not meant for the freeway and just cruising and stuff like that. Obviously it's doable. That's mainly why I got the bike. I'm not going to be tracking that bike. I didn't get that bike to be a track bike. You know, I honestly rather track the R1M because the R1M is A, much cheaper, B, it's kind of like an easier bike to ride on the track. You know what I mean? It's not as like crazy and aggressive, because that V4R is really powerful and it's very light. I bet it will be like a better track bike if I do decide to full send it, but it's a lot of bike, you know what I mean? Like if you're a like really good track rider, obviously that bike is gonna kill. But like as I said, I've only been to the track one time. Obviously I'm gonna want to go again, but I'll probably take the R1M again, just because that bike is like, it feels more manageable. Even though I totally believe that the V4R would get so much better times, it'll be so much faster on the track. It's just kind of like, it's such an expensive bike too, that's really like, you don't want to like risk that unless you're all about the track life, and that's not really me. I like bikes because of what they are. They're just like amazing art pieces that you get to unleash on roads, you know what I mean? Or track, some might argue. Yeah, for what we're doing right now, the V4R is just not the best. Not that it's not doable, you know, obviously I rode it many hours and it was a little painful, but it's not as comfortable and relaxing as this bike. It requires a little bit more work. It's a little more demanding. As I said, it's much lighter too, so like when I was getting hit by like winds over there on the ride, I definitely felt it, like, you know, wobbling the bike a little bit. On the E2 that's definitely not the case. V4R on the other hand is not built for the streets because of kind of like how aggressive riding position it is and how the bike is designed, you know. It's, Ducati literally stated that this is a race bike designed for the street. So, and it totally like translates when you ride it, you totally feel that. But it's still like an amazing bike and it's still fun on the streets. Now for the power, I can't really compare the power completely because the V4R is completely stock right now. This bike has a full exhaust system, air filter, custom Dynatune, so I can't really compare the power. But from kind of like the initial thoughts, the V4R seems like such a fast bike because of mainly how light it is. It's like such a light bike and so nimble. So like, imagine being on like a 600 or like a 300 with 200 plus horsepower. It's just insane, you know, the way it makes you feel. Like this is a big bike. The H2 is a big heavy bike, So when you get like all this power, it's kind of like, it makes sense, you know, you're big, you're strong, you're powerful, it makes sense. On that Ducati though, it's so like crazy because it's such a like, you know, it's such a like nimble bike that it's just like catches you off guard of like how fast it is. Like you don't realize how fast that bike is, especially those rev limiters. Like most bikes redline at what, like 14,000 RPM. Not that Ducati, the V4R redlines at 16.5. So it's definitely like a crazy engine that Ducati built only for these 2 years for that V4R. And that engine is somewhat similar to the Superleggera as well, because the Superleggera has a 998, I believe, just like the V4R, not a 1100. Now let's go on to which bike is my favorite. As I said like in previous videos, it's really hard to choose like between my bikes. Currently, what bike would I rather ride on the streets? The answer would be the V4R. Why is that? Because A, it's new. I've had the H2 for going on to 2 years now. The V4R is still like new, you know, I haven't ridden it as much. Another thing is that it does not have an exhaust, and you guys might wonder like, why is that a good thing? That's usually a bad thing. It actually is, because where I live there's a lot of like exhaust laws, and if they're usually not too strict about them everywhere, but because of how loud this bike is, if a cop was having a bad day and I was like passing him doing the speed limit, nothing, or even stopped at a stoplight, and he hears how loud this bike is, he could give me a ticket. And having that in the back of your head kind of like is annoying, you know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know, it doesn't give you that peace of mind of like, yeah, I get to just go and enjoy my ride. So yeah, favorite bike to ride right now would be the V4R. Is it the most fun? I do not know, because as nice looking of a bike and as like fun it is to ride around, there's something about having crazy amounts of power on this bike that just like, I don't know, it's so crazy. You guys saw in my last H2 video, which was the first time I ride the H2 in a long time, ever since I got the V4R. I was like giggling and smiling throughout the video because of like, you know, I forgot how fast this bike is, and it's like just insane to me, and it's just like so fun to ride. It's just like such a thrill. So I would say like the V4R is just better. I would choose it as my favorite bike right now, but like I can still say that the H2 is probably more fun to ride than the V4R. And obviously that's talking about like just casual riding, cruising, I don't know, just like riding in general. Obviously if I want to go to the canyon, this bike would be a nightmare, you know. I would definitely rather have the V4R. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's kind of just answering this question because I saw it like pop up on my Instagram and on YouTube in the comments and stuff like that. People asking, oh, like which bike is your favorite right now? So yeah, I didn't just talk as much about the R1M. This was mainly about like the V4R and the Ninja H2, because I think they're kind of like in a different league than the R1M, you know what I mean? The R1M is a little bit like less, you know? Not that it's in a bad way. Sometimes less is more enjoyable. But yes, this is pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of like short little review, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out and ride safe.